Yo guys, alright, so for this video, we are returning to tutorials, and for this video, I'm going to teach you how to make glass. One of the things I've noticed when it came to glass tutorials, they always overcomplicate the process of making the shader, and it's honestly pretty simple. You don't need anything fancy, and obviously if you want to make it like more overcomplicated, it obviously has its use. You get more control, more freedom. But for this tutorial, I am going to show you how to make the simplest way to make some glass, a glass shader, right? I'm gonna first teach you how to make one without necessarily needing any type of external textures, and I'm gonna show the other way where you can use a mask, an alpha, to add some some variety to your glass shaders. My bad. Obviously I already made it, but I'm gonna make it again. So first, uh, you right click and you click material, then you name it. I'm gonna name it M for some classic naming for material, glass, basic 02. We're gonna call it 02 for because I already did one. And here we go. So honestly, I'm gonna duplicate this and I'm gonna put this here and I'm gonna save this. All right, so y'all can see the entire process, and obviously the right thing to do would be to make an instance, but for this video, let's not worry about that. But after I'm done with the actual shader, I'm gonna make an instance and show you that you can modify the the functions, the parameters. Okay, so for this, the first thing that you actually need to do is click on the actual shader, and you don't need to change much except the blend mode, which is translucence, gray, transmittus. This will give you the transparency. Now, another function that also can give you the same like effect is the mask and the additive additive. I'm sorry. Um so all these three are good, but I prefer the look of the translucent gray. That's just me personally. And one of the first things that you actually need to do, first, you need to make sure that it's two-sided. But another thing is the refraction. Just go to the search bar, write refraction, and you will see refraction method. This is for this little thing, refraction disable, because it will, this is where like you need to, where you can add like I guess the refraction of the glass, kind of like the distortion. So first thing we're gonna do is actually make the constant for that refraction, so we don't need to think about it. So you can right click or click tab, and you can click constant. I'm gonna show you because I'm actually going kind of fast. So constant, and for this one you always turn it into a parameter. Right click the constant and convert. I mean, now it's convert to constant, but you're supposed to do convert to parameter. So refraction, we name everything, don't forget. And one of the things you can do, hold on. Oh, there you go. In general, and under material, scalar parameter, expression scalar parameter, can default it to 1. just so we can see the change. Obviously you won't notice it immediately, mainly because obviously the glass also there's also transparency, which will do it by using the opacity override. But to make sure that we control the opacity pretty well, we'll add a Fresnel. And as you can see, just by adding the Fresnel, you can kind of see the glass material. I'll make sure to apply so you can see the change. But we already got a glass, and this is, if you want to just use this, you can stop right there if you want, but we're gonna add other functions to make this basic shader a bit more interesting, because if you want to do variations and stuff like that. But we already have our glass shader, already the base, and to really control the opacity of that Fresnel, make another constant. Obviously you can copy C, copy V, but I'm showing the entire process. So convert to parameter and just write opacity. There you go. And you can make sure that the opacity is low. Oh, actually, we'll make it at once so I can show y'all. You put it at exponential, and you kind of see how it's more opaque. And if you elevate it, it'll obviously turn more transparent as you uh, if I put it at 10, it'll just be actually I'll put it at 100 to make sure. Okay, now you barely see it. Actually apply. Sorry, it's taking some time. Pretty sure I have another because I'm doing another project, so I think I have another Unreal that's like right behind. But I mean, you can kind of see the box, but obviously it's a lot more transparent. Uh, if you want to not break your how can I say, to not break your shader, can put like minimum 0 and maximum 100. Let's just say. You know what? I'll put 50 because this is we don't need 100. There you go. Okay, this is nice. I can still see the outline actually. At 20, actually at 25, honestly, it's already pretty good. So obviously you can test. Now this is just opaque. I'm pretty sure you can see. Yeah. We can see the inside actually. Is it because of the translucent gray? If I put it an additive, I just want to try something out because oh, this okay. I'm not a fan of this effect of the additive. Yeah. I prefer the translucent personally. But you can do all three. You can test it out if you want. When you put it in mask, you'll see that this will gray out and this will open up. It's just like a difference, I guess, between the three. Um, Now that we already did our opacity, let's put it the default actually at 5. All right. So now we can control how opaque and translucent our glass can be. The next step to make sure that you have some type of variation or to make your shader a bit more interesting is the color tint and the base of I mean, I guess the base color of our glass. You know what, I'll start by making a constant. This is the way where you don't really need actual texture. Just call it base. I'll put it the default at 1. And now this is what I thought. Multiply, right click. Now this is where we add the tint constant for vector. And you can convert to parameter. It's important for the instance. Tint base. Okay, we put this at A and this is at B. And now, as you can see, this is black. You can put it at white so it's better. And now you might be like, oh, I don't see much changes when I do like the base. But the reason why it's actually very important, you kind of change the when there's color, you can kind of see the change. It's more apparent when you use colors, but basically the base is more about like the intensity of the base color of the glass, and when you change colors it'll also affect really how you use or what's like the base level of like of your tint really. So this is the basic. You could stop also right there when you're making your glass shader. But if you want to take it like a step further and really give yourself more options, you can put, now this is really a new node that I didn't teach on my last video. Static switch will make sure that it can give you options without it being like too cluttered. I'm gonna show you when I make the instance, but we're gonna put this at false as like kind of the base normal thing. And when you click true, it will apply the other logic of nodes basically. So it'll pick one or the other. Because right now it's at false, I'll pick the basic one. But whenever you click true, it'll pick the other way. Now this is the section where you might need some textures, which you can already take the textures from Unreal. Normally in Unreal, you have a all engine, which has all of the content. So whenever you click, you go to under with engine and you just write mask. Okay. Make sure that you go on there and show only the textures, and then you'll see all the option that you have. You can just pick the one that you want. I copied all of them so I can copy paste them in another folder so it's easier to find them in my own folders. Hold on. So this is the Unreal content. I just copy pasted them. And this is where you're gonna need a actual like texture, or you can make them on your own by using Photoshop or by using Affinity. I use Affinity. So what you're gonna do is texture sample, a node we already learned, and hold on, convert to parameter. I'm gonna say mask. And the first thing first thing we're gonna do is make a multiply. We're gonna put it at B. And you know what? Let's choose this, the one of the masks. Choose any one that you want, really. And you can put it like this. By clicking this, the last thing that you clicked on, and by doing this it will automatically appear. Or you could just do a drag and it'll also appear, and then you can do a convert to parameter. So obviously we're going to do a constant. We've done this before throughout the video. Convert to parameter. Contrast to control really the opacity, or how intense, or I guess I should call it intensity of the mask. The more the value is high, the higher the value, the more intense the mask will appear on our glass. I call it contrast. I'm pretty sure on my other when I first created the shader, but doesn't matter as long as you understand your own naming, or that the naming is really easily understandable for other people to use, really. So we're gonna do another tint. You know what? We can just copy and paste, but we're gonna rename it tint mask. And we're gonna do a multiply, put it at A, and the base at B. And then you can basically put this on true. Now we have all the functions needed to do many variations of our glass. I'm gonna save. Hold on, material. Okay, there you go. Now we can just do create instance. We rename it mi glass, for material instance, glass basic from the basic 02. Okay. Now I basically added the it's laggy a bit, but it doesn't matter. So I added the mi glass. And okay, obviously I forgot to do the groups. Doesn't matter for this video, but it's a good practice to kind of do it. Hold on. Oh. Static switch. Hold on. Where's the static? Okay, wait. Static. This is not supposed to static parameter. Hold on. Static. Oh. Oh, there we go. Oh my god, I picked the wrong. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, this is this was a mistake, but you should actually pick the static switch parameter. I am sorry. Okay, so use texture mask so we can make it clear to ourselves whenever we want to reuse the just use the true, but it's still the same principle. I just used the wrong the wrong node. I am sorry. Okay, so this is false and this is going to be true. And it's basically the same logic. It's just it's gonna give us the option, and because this is a parameter, this should appear. There you go. Use texture mask. So because we're using the texture mask, new option will appear. Instead of modifying the, how can I say this, the base level, we're going to be using the intensity, and it also changed the for the color tint to tint mask. And basically the switch parameter makes things more simple for your instances, so it's not just a bunch of information, and it's just a bunch of functions cluttered together and you're confused on which one to choose, right? We're trying to make your life easier. You're trying to make other people's lives easier too when making a shader. So we can switch to anything. And oh, the reason why it's all black, it's mainly because the default value is at 0. And as you can see, we can see the color, intensity, and you can see the changes, which should appear. There you go. Now I used a different mask than this. You know what? I'll put it white, or I guess gray. Save. You can kind of see it, the changes, and you can obviously duplicate any like instances to make another one, and to make sure that you do many variations, and make sure to have different textures. Now I have some online that I've gotten online. They're free, and if you don't feel comfortable to use textures that come from online, then you can make your own. But this is basically the entire tutorial. Okay, this is opaque. Hold on. And the change, yeah, it appears a lot more opaque. There you go. I think that's better. There you go. And obviously you can change like the refraction. This can basically change the view lens of your glass. And you can change also the texture that you want to use if you want to do like different variations. You know what? I'm gonna put it blue, and the opacity is gonna be more intense, 15. And obviously now it looks a lot more like glass. But basically, this gives you a range of control for a very simple shader. So yeah, thank you for listening, and see y'all in the next video.